we're taking a little sidetrack from the prophets. Let me tell you why.
I'll make my own decisions. What a stupid thing to say. Lord, I need you every day.
Hello, my amazing friends. We're taking a little sidetrack from the prophets. Let me tell you why. Most of my life, I've kind of battled cluster headaches, and they come with ocular migraines at the same time. And sometimes it takes me out for a day, and sometimes it takes me out for 3.5 days, like it did last week. So, and because the point of this channel is to bring biblical clarity and real understanding of the truth of what's being said, I could slap it together, but that's not the point of why I'm doing this. So I need a little bit more time for research since I got knocked out for 4 days last week. And in the interim, I'm going to tell you what happened on day 4, because I wasn't quite ready to go back to work yet, but I was worried about a paycheck. So I have been doing a Bible survey for the last couple years. I've done it a couple of times with GCBI, which is the Great Commission Bible Institute. You've heard me reference Dr. Randall Smith before. He's the main teacher at GCBI, and I was unable to look at technology or anything, so I was stuck watching television, which is okay with me because I just take it as study time. And so I was watching through the Bible survey that I have done. GCBI 102 is what I got through. So I got through 101 and 102. That shows you how long I was down and couldn't look at anything. In one of the episodes, it talks about the story of when Abraham did something wrong and God blessed him. It's in Genesis 20. Okay, so that sounds funny. Abraham lied and God blessed him. Abraham's nephew Lot was in Sodom, and there was nobody righteous there, and God decided to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah because, not for what a lot of people think, but because of pride, because they were neglecting the poor and needy, and they were selfish. So Abraham went to God and asked if there were any righteous people, if God would spare the city. Well, he didn't. All he did was send angels in to warn Lot so he could get out of town. So after the incident, Genesis 20 says this. Abraham journeyed from there to the Negev region and settled between Kadesh and Shur, which apparently is like the edge of the wilderness. While he lived as a temporary resident in Gerar, Abraham said about his wife Sarah, "She is my sister." So Abimelech, king of Gerar, sent for Sarah and took her. But God appeared to Abimelech in a dream at night and said to him, "You're as good as dead because of the woman you have taken, for she is someone else's wife." Now Abimelech had not gone near her. He said, "Lord, would you really slaughter an innocent nation? Did Abraham not say to me, 'She's my sister'?" And she herself said, "He's my brother." I've done this with a clear conscience and with innocent hands. Now here's the thing, is that Abraham and Sarah actually were brother and sister. They were half brother and sister. We won't get into the details of whether that's right or wrong, because that's a completely different subject. But the fact is that Abraham lied to save his own skin. The story goes on. Then in the dream, God replied to him, "Yes, I know that you have done this with a clear conscience. This is why I have kept you from sinning against me and why I did not allow you to touch her. But now give back the man's wife. Indeed, he's a prophet and he will pray for you, thus you will live. But if you don't give her back, know that you will surely die along with all who belong to you." Early in the morning, Abimelech summoned all his servants. When he told them about all these things, they were terrified. "Yeah, really?" Abimelech summoned Abraham and said to him, "What have you done to us? What sin did I commit against you that would cause you to bring such great guilt on me and my kingdom? You've done things to me that should not be done." Then Abimelech asked Abraham, "What prompted you to do this thing?" Abraham replied, "Because I thought, surely no one fears God in this place. They will kill me because of my wife. What's more, she indeed is my sister, my father's daughter, but not my mother's daughter. She became my wife. When God made me wander from my father's house, I told her, 'This is what you can do to show your loyalty to me. Every place we go, say about me, he's my brother.'" So apparently, she was Miss Haughty also. So, being attractive, that makes sense, I guess. So Abimelech gave sheep, cattle, and male and female servants to Abraham. Wait, Abraham lied and he got camels and sheep and servants? He also gave his wife Sarah back to him. Then Abimelech said, "Look, my land is before you, live wherever you please." To Sarah he said, "Look, I have given 1,000 pieces of silver to your brother. This is compensation for you so that you will stand vindicated before all who are with you." Abraham prayed to God, and God healed Abimelech, as well as his wife and female slaves, so that they were able to have children. For the Lord had caused infertility to strike every woman in the household of Abimelech, because he took Sarah, Abraham's wife. All right. Does that make any sense to any of you? Okay, so when I thought that through, I wrestled with God over that one for a couple of days, and I think I get it. Something I think we often miss is the fact that God blesses us so we can bless others. I think there's a common misconception in culture that says we are blessed because God wants to do something for us. Let's think of this like the game of pool. This is not an original thought. I got this from Randall Smith, the GCBI instructor. He put it like this. Think of the game of pool. God is the cue stick, and he hits us the cue ball with a blessing. But what happens to the cue ball when you hit it? The point isn't to get the cue ball into the pockets. The point is to use the cue ball to get the other balls into the pocket. The same with a blessing. We are blessed to bless others. God doesn't do something just so we get benefit from something. And that's kind of the lesson that I learned this week, is that God wasn't blessing Abraham for lying. That was not it whatsoever. God was using Abraham to accomplish a goal and get the glory, which is what happened with Abimelech and his household. I got a lesson in humility on day 4 of my migraine. So I told you that I had gone back to work because I was feeling the need to make sure I got a paycheck. Well, this is what happened. So I'm a delivery driver, and so I went to the store to get my delivery. And I was talking to one of my coworkers there that brings the groceries out, and he was putting it in, and I looked over, and there was a big stanchion over there that a few weeks back somebody hit, and we kind of were making fun of her. Ooh, like, how do you not see a big yellow concrete stanchion standing there? How do you just run into it? Yeah, well, so making fun of her, and I put the groceries in my car and I pulled out of the parking lot, which there is no turn arrow there. And so you kind of have to fight to get out. And it's kind of a busy intersection. Really, they need to put a green arrow, an arrow in there, but I digress. So I pulled up and I saw a little opening and I pulled into the intersection as the light was turning yellow. And so I was going to clear the intersection. And the guy on the other side that I had space in front of sped up really fast so he could make it through the light and didn't have to wait for the red light. Well, we both turned at the same time and he was kind of running into my lane and I miscalculated and I slammed into the curb, completely popping my tire. Within 4 seconds, it was completely flat. I had just gotten those tires 2 weeks ago. I haven't even really fully paid for those tires yet. And here I was paying the price for a dumb decision that I had made. And so I got the car off the road. So I called. I was kind of trapped there, a little frazzled, and so I called and canceled the order. And I called my husband, and he's like, "Get the car off the road, Nikki. Think straight." So I got the car off the road, and let me tell you, I was literally on the rim because I hit that curb so hard, it went pow, and my face went like this. I think I was stuck like that for a little bit there. I was a bit baffled how that could have happened. I've made that turn like thousands of times. They do that constantly during the week, that exact same turn. And so I got the car off the road and I pulled over, and they had told me that they couldn't clear the order off of my app until I took the order back to the store. Well, thankfully I wasn't that far. And so I packed everything up in my buckets and put it on my dolly. And so I was hauling it back over, and my son called. I was still crying from the incident because I was so embarrassed and really ticked off at myself, to be honest. And I barely got the words out of my mouth, and he was like, "Mom, there's $200 in your account. Buy a new tire. No harm, no foul. Everything is good." And I was like, wow, and so I hauled the groceries back over, and somebody had just dropped things off into somebody else's car. And I was like, wait, I need to put that stuff in your cart. You need to take this back in for me, please, because I have to cancel this order. And unfortunately, they'll have to reshop for it. That's the bummer part. But so I got back to the car, and my husband is disabled and has issues with driving, and I felt really bad having to have him come down because I knew it was going to cause pain to him. And he got there and he looked at it. He was like, "Dang, okay, so we don't have AAA. Probably a good idea to get it." So we called a tow truck, and they didn't have any tow trucks available. And we're like, "What are we going to do?" And he said, "Okay, let's just think for a minute. Let's think this through." And I was praying silently. And I'm like, "Okay, God, I messed up. And I know I kind of deserve it because I was making fun of that lady for doing something stupid. And then I literally immediately went and did something stupid." So he's like, "Okay, I don't know how I'm going to do this, but we're going to back it into the shaded area, and I'm going to do my best to get the tire off." As he's backing into the spot, God sends somebody to help us. The guy pulls up and he says, "Hi, do you guys need any help?" And we're like, "Yes, please. That would be fantastic." And he pulled up, he said, "And I happen to have every tool that you could possibly need in the back. What do you need? How can I help? He had this like big jack, like this heavy duty jack. He jacked up the car and got the tire off for us, and my husband got the spare tire on and tightened it up, and he was like, "I'm Rex." And we were like, "Rex, you're a godsend." We were like, "Thank you so much. You have no idea like how much you helped us." And so we went, and thanks to my son, we were able to order a brand new tire. And unfortunately, here's another little blessing in disguise. So last week, I had decided to take a week off for a vacation. And instead of a vacation, I got trapped in the bed with the lights out and sunglasses on, and for 4 days almost. And I was like, well, what a waste of a vacation week. Well, it's gonna take a week for our tire to come in, so blessing in disguise, I get a vacation week. Unfortunately, I don't get a paycheck, but that's all right, because there was another blessing involved in that as well. So I could get done the things that I actually had to do last week. I do have a lot to do. So I think it is a huge lesson in humility to, when we are feisty and God goes, you know what? I'm going to bless you in this, and you're going to use this for my glory, because you're going to see what compassion and mercy actually is. I will not be making fun of people for making mistakes anymore. Yeah, boy, did I feel stupid when that happened minutes later. And I'm going to remember all the blessings that God gave. And instead of picking on people for having a moment of duh, I'm going to remember my moments of duh and pass on mercy instead of judgment. There's a time for judgment, and one day we will get to those verses. But we're supposed to judge righteously, not pass judgment on people for their mistakes and their faults. We'll pick up where we left off in the prophets on Thursday, God willing, because we got to watch that, making those plans and saying, I'm going to do this. So I'm going to say, if God wills it, we're going to do prophets on Thursday. And stay humble. Oh. And as always, thank you so much for being here today. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button right there. And click the bell for notifications. And if you wouldn't mind, hit that like button for me. And I will see you next time. Maranatha.
We know this is why we're here. This is why He gave us life. So let His love shine through in everything we do. It's all for love. He commanded above all things to love the Lord with all our mind, heart, soul, and strength for all of time. Give your heart to the one who was there at the start. We were made to love, we were made to give. The reason why we're here, the reason why He gave us life. We were made to show the love of Christ. We know this is why we're here. This is why He gave us life. So let His love shine through in everything we do. It's all for love. Greater love has no one but this, that He lay His life down for a friend. Build each other up. Don't cease, it's never enough. And now that He's washed me clean, I want to follow where He to love, we were made to give. The reason why we're here, the reason why He gave us life. We were made to show the love of Christ. We know this is why we're here, this is why He gave us life. So let His love shine through in everything we do. It's all for love. He said there's nothing greater than love. He said there's nothing greater than love. He said there's nothing greater than love.